won a tournament by 5 strokes with a final score of 74, and it felt absolutely amazing. You know, I released a video, I felt like it was just barely 2 months ago, where I talked about I was so lost and was going through a couple lessons with Kurt that were just really difficult. We were working on a lot of things with the body just to get my moves, as Kurt would call it, as efficient as possible. And it's always difficult and it's always a struggle to, you know, go through the steps and not get the results you want to see. And that's just the thing about golf. Like, you got to put in the effort, you got to put in the work, and the results will show themselves. So I'm over the moon and ecstatic that I got that done. I feel like right now my game is in a very, very strong place. I'm moving a lot more efficiently. I'm getting through the ball a lot cleaner. My strike is better. The driver is working. And obviously, once those things are working, it's a lot easier to play a round of golf. So we're going to talk a little bit about what happened in that tournament, what I learned, and what I'm going to be doing next to continue improving my game. Let's do it right meow.
And we are back. So my tournament was in Post and Butte, which is a really nice course. It's in Florence, Arizona. It's right between Phoenix and Tucson. And they're known for their 17th green, which is designed to mimic sawgrass. It was an absolutely fantastic course. The only thing I don't like about this tournament is we do A and B groups, which really infuriates me and frustrates the ever-loving bejesus out of me, because you have 8 golfers on a tee box and people are all just like meandering around and like not getting to where they go. So I just grabbed my first one on hole 15, hit it right over the bunker. And of course, because this is a tournament and there's a bunch of people standing on the tee box, someone's always got to heckle you and be like, oh, where did that ball go? And someone was like, oh, did that get over the bunker? And I literally just looked at the guy who I didn't even know who his name was yet, because I hadn't introduced myself to my playing partners. I'm like, bro, it's 230 to get over the bunker. Like, don't at me. Like, cut it out. Like, of course that ball is well over that bunker. You see what I'm working with here. I'm such a tool. We get down there. Most of these dudes are like 225, 240. They're in the bunker left and the bunker right. And I'm looking down the fairway and I see a little ball that's like right on the left edge. It's about 40 yards away from the green. And I'm like, okay, I absolutely striped that drive and it didn't even feel like I had to hit it that hard. We can work this driver today. Chipped it to about 6 feet, ended up missing that putt, moved on to the next hole. Hole 17 had the exact same thing. 8 people standing on a tee box. It's a par 3 that's water and everybody's jammed up behind. Of course, I'm on deck because at this point I was even through the tournament. So I knew it was a solid 9-iron to the center of the green. Got up there, striped the shot, had a perfect little draw on it, landed about 12 feet away from the pin, putted that bad boy in for 2 putts and moved on to the next hole. And it was at this point in the tournament that I started to realize that, okay, my irons are working well, my driver's working well, my wedges are working well, I'm getting good ball striking. My putting, it's a little iffy. So I'm not gonna go through a whole recap of the round because obviously it was a lot of pars, a lot of 2 putts, whatever have you, but I do have a few holes that I want to label these as decade moments. Many of you know I use Scott Foss's decade system, and I think it's really helpful for you to understand scoring strategy and also sometimes how I implement it on the course. All right, so we got over the hole 2. I was even through the tournament at this point, so what is this, like maybe 9 holes in? I'm still even. And I hit a decent drive. It just squirted off a little bit to the right and landed in the bunker. As I got up to the bunker, I was about, I want to say it was a long par 4. It was the hardest difficulty hole on the course because the bunker was like 270 or 265 to carry. It was like right on that limit of where I can't carry it, and I knew I was going to probably end up somewhere around it. And I get up to the lip of the bunker, and it's a pretty decent sized lip. So immediately, the first thing in my mind is, I'm even through, what, 9 or 8 holes. I want to save par here. And I had to stop myself, and I looked at my yardage book and looked at my decade strategy and just had to remind myself, this is a 400 and what, like 70 yard par 4, 450 yard par 4. Most people in the field are going to be making bogey here. We just need to get this ball out of the bunker, back into the fairway, and let our short game and putting take over from there. So I took an 8-iron and put the hybrid or whatever the longer iron I was going to hit away. I actually duffed the 8-iron, but it came out and it landed into the fairway, but it was just still caught up in the rough. And I wasn't able to really control the spin on the wedge, but it landed just short of the flag and released, I want to say, about 10 feet past. So in my mind, I'm like, cool. Got up onto the green, read the putt, and I stopped myself from trying to make a putt and trying to like, oh, I gotta save par, and just was like, hey, I'm gonna hit this putt at cup speed, see what happens. I picked a good line, rolled it right down, and it literally just held its line, center of the cup the entire time, fell in at cup speed. And that was one of those things where I gave like a full on just fist pump at it, because I was like, I just saved par on a hole that I know a lot of people are going to be making bogey on, and I'm in the lead of this tournament. We got the momentum. We just made a very clutch putt after making a smart decision, smart decade decision out of the bunker. And sometimes the momentum you get from making a smart decision that you may not want to make because it seems like you're losing ground on the field, and then having that smart decision reward you, is the best feeling in the world. So I was off to the races. At that point, I just said, keep making committed golf swings. Everything's working as best as it can today. We just got to keep making committed golf swings and just get ourselves to this tournament and continue with the strategy that we have. And even though the putter wasn't working as well as I would have liked it to that day, I definitely made putts exactly when I needed to. And I looked at the leaderboard after that hole because I figured, okay, I'm maybe 1 or 2 over at this point. So like I've got to be pretty much comfortably in the lead. I looked at the leaderboard and the next closest person was like maybe 6 strokes behind me. So I'm like, okay, I got 4 more holes to play, 6 strokes behind, or 6-stroke lead. Chances are I've got enough room to get this thing home and get it done. But I had to stop myself because I caught myself daydreaming about what it'd be like to win, and like, oh, I'm gonna get to hold the trophy and I get to make this YouTube video and tell all my followers about me winning this tournament. And I just literally had to like slap myself and be like, Kenny, you need to get focused. This tournament is not done. Like, the job's not done until the scorecard is signed and everything is official and you are declared the winner.
Still waiting for a big smile out of you. You're up 2-0. What's the story? Are you not happy, or you're only half happy, or?
Still to be happy about.
You're up 2-0.
Job's not finished. Job finished? I don't think so.
Then I got on to the final hole of me for the day, which is 13 or 14, and I just stuck to my philosophy of like, the job is not done. It doesn't matter that we are 6 strokes ahead or 5 strokes ahead in the lead or whatever the case may be. We still got to make committed golf swings. Smoked the driver dead up the center of the fairway. It was probably the best driver shot I hit all day because it just didn't leave its line. I get up to it and I was between clubs like a 9 or an 8. And I just thought to myself, you know what? The flag's in the center of the green. Just choose the longer club. Commit to it. If it's long with 2-putt, we'll get out of here. And I just stayed focused and hit the best 8-iron that I hit that entire day. I started it just right of the flag and it never left the line. Got up there, read my putt. It was about 8 feet just to the right of the cup. Drained it and snuck it in the right side of the door. And that got the round finished at 74. So all in all, it was a really fun experience. I mean, like, I've never been in a position where I've had to hold a lead for 14 plus holes and every single shot was a lot of pressure. But at the end of the day, I just had to stick to what I did best, which is focusing on my process, committing to my shots, and picking good targets. Like, there was a point where I looked at the scoreboard where I was maybe 1 or 2 shots ahead of the field, and every shot felt so intense. It was like, if I don't hit this on the green, it means I'm losing a stroke. If I don't get this putt in, I'm losing a stroke. And obviously that's not the way to play the most efficient golf. You just kind of got to stay committed to your process. But I learned to just embrace the pressure. The fact that you're feeling this pressure means that you've worked hard enough to put yourself in a position to feel the pressure. Embrace it. This is what you practice for. This is what you live for. Like, could you imagine being able to get to do this with like people watching? Another thing I learned is I need to stop paying any attention to what anybody else is doing on the golf course. Like, there was parts where I was thinking about, okay, well, this person's here and what is this dude doing? And like, no. I can't control what the field's gonna do. I can't control what anybody else is doing around me. I have to stay committed to my process. And that is something that I'm getting a lot better with. It does not matter what's happening around me. The only thing I can control is how committed I am to going through my steps, picking a solid decade target, and committing to that swing. So what is next for me? I have two major tournaments that are coming up. I'm doing a 2-day tournament at Weekapaw, and I have a 2-day tournament at TPC Scottsdale. So I'm going to continue to get prepared for those tournaments. I have a few filler tournaments in between now and the next week, and hopefully I can go out and continue playing as well as I have been. I forgot to mention, I didn't even put this in the beginning of the video. Currently, my last 10 competitive rounds have me at a scoring average of 78.2, which is phenomenal. I'm playing really good golf. My tournament handicap has dropped down to 8.3. What will happen next is if I continue to play at this and I post another round in, let's just say maybe like I think it's a 75 or 76 or 77, depending on the course rating, what likely will happen is that my handicap will drop below 8.0. It'll drop into the 7s, which means I'll be advanced into the next flight. And I gotta admit, I'm a little bit nervous about that because, you know, there are a lot of really good players between the 3 and 7 handicap flight, right? Like those guys are really good. These are people that shoot consistently in the 70s, and you're also playing from, you know, tee boxes that are 6,800 to 7,000 yards. I know, I was like, ooh, the tips. In all honesty, it's not like I literally just keep thinking of all the memes and stuff that people make. It's like, oh, you guys want to play from the tips? I play better from the tips. It's like, no, you don't. But this is what I've been preparing for. We knew this day would come eventually. You've worked on your game. You've improved your body mobility. You've improved your ball striking. You've improved your golf IQ. Like eventually you were going to get to the point where you were going to be moved up to a different flight and you're going to be playing from some longer tees. So just embrace that challenge. Embrace the pressure that's going to come with like, okay, now in order for me to score well, I have to hit every single drive pretty darn good and pretty darn far, or else I'm going to be hitting long irons in all day. So that's something that is in the back of my mind. But at the end of the day, it's like, it doesn't matter. Like if I can go low in the 70s from 6,600 yards, like what's an additional 400 yards really going to make a difference? I know somebody down the lens is like, well, we can actually calculate how much of a difference that'll make. It'll probably add another 4 strokes to your score. At the end of the day, I'm being moved to this arena because I've demonstrated that I have the skills to compete with this level of field. So I don't need to be intimidated by the fact that, oh, this person used to play for the Arizona State team back in 1980 or whatever have you. It doesn't matter. I know what my strengths are. I know where my weaknesses are. I know that I'm capable enough to go out onto a course, hit good drives, hit good iron shots, hit good wedges, and make putts. So now my mind is more focused on not being afraid of the pressure of going low. When that round is, you know, even through 13 or 1 through 13, like we can still go lower. We have the ability. We just need to believe that we can do it. And now that I've seen myself do it under pressure and in a tournament situation, it's unlocked a new level of confidence to where I'm just like shooting a 69 or a 70 is not an unreasonable ask if I'm firing on all cylinders, right? Like I can make it to that level. We just got to keep practicing, keep grinding, keep working at it, and eventually we will get there. So wish me luck in my upcoming tournaments. I will, of course, post updates on how all those have done. That's really all I got for you. As always, thank you very much for watching my YouTube channel. Deuces, people. Let's keep it